his wife.
You were telling me earlier about Doreen and Patrick used to go out, but you didn't finish off what you were saying. You said they used to go out. Where did they go?
Randy and I used to go out to Umburn to see them. And then when Joe died, Patrick had to, because he was on benefits, and I had a little job, I couldn't pay for the funeral. And Patrick had to claim benefits to bury him because, as I say, I didn't have it. I only had a small job, £7 a week, and I couldn't pay to bury him with that. And I wasn't on benefits. Because I was working, they expected me to pay for the funeral. And I couldn't, I didn't have the money. But Doreen and Patrick were very good. Yeah, Doreen was a lovely woman. Her children loved her, but Patrick was a bugger. He used to knock her about. He'd get drunk and he'd be violent towards her. So she'd whisper to me, he's been knocking me about, Martha. And I said, Patrick, she's a very good mother. Doreen is he said, I know she is, Mal. He said, but the drink gets the better of me. She'd have a black eye and everything. Oh, God. It was bad, and the children hated him. They hated him. Patrick said when he grew up, he'd knock hell out of him. And Michael, they won't knock us about. He said, when we grow up, we're going to get him. We're going to give it to him what he gave to our mother. He was very violent towards Doreen. She was a really lovely woman.
Who's Doreen to you?
Doreen was Patrick's wife, my sister-in-law.
And Patrick?
Like Jill was my sister-in-law.
And what about Patrick?
Patrick was my brother. He was violent, doing drink. He went off with Joe at the weekend and he'd come back drunk and he'd throw the house about and knock Doreen about. She'd have to go outside the house and hide behind the trees so she wouldn't knock her about. She was a lovely woman, but he was a nasty bugger. He was nasty. They were nasty. My brothers were nasty in drink.
That's why you don't like drink, do you, Nan?
No, I never drank, Paul.
No, I said that's why you don't like people drinking round you.
No, I don't, because I've seen so much. My uncles, my mother's brothers were drunkards. Martin Hooley, his name was, a nickname. He would knock his lovely wife, Nora. She was a lovely woman.
Who are these people, Nan?
And he used to knock her about.
Who's this person you're talking about?
My mother's brother.
Ah, okay.
Martin Hooley was his nickname. But he used to knock Doreen about. I mean, Nora, his wife was Nora. He used to knock her about terrible. I caught her hiding her money and she said, oh, don't tell him whatever you do. She could, it was brass beds with knobs on the 4 posters. And she used to say, don't tell him where I've hidden my money. I said, I won't, Auntie. I won't tell him. I never did. I don't think he ever pestered me too. Because he was nasty. Nasty in drink. She's a lovely woman, Nora. She could knit like Jill. She could crochet. She could sew. She used to make rugs and sell them, patchwork quilts and sell them. She'd go down the docks with sacks and bring back all the bits of material and she'd sew them into bed quilts. and rugs for the floor. Oh, she was a clever woman. And she'd sell them for a few shillings and be able to buy food for the children. And Jill, who could make things, she was very clever. That's how Jared is so clever. He told me that. He said, why I'm so clever, aren't his mum? My mother was a very clever woman. I said, I know, I kept telling her. But she was mixing with bad people. And she's not doing herself any favours. Them bad people are taking her bad ways. And I told her she didn't like it. Told Mama I was interfering. Oh, no, I'm not, Jill, I said. They're bad people and they're taking you bad ways. You'll end up really down. And Jared believed me. But he believed in his mother. He said, I'll get my brains from my mother. He said, I'm a high-class graphic designer. Yeah, he got a big job in London. Lots of money he earned. And then he married Helen, and she was a graphic designer. And they had their own businesses. She had her business, and he had his business. And they made loads of money. They had a big house out in the country. And he said, because it was his mother that did it for him. Because Jerry was hopeless. He was always blind drunk and throwing the money away. If it hadn't been for Chills, the children would have starved. She'd make bedspreads, quilts and patchwork rugs for the floor, and she'd sell them and make a bit of money to buy food for the children. He was very bad. Jerry went bad ways, mixing with bad people. I've always said that. My mother said it. Never mix with bad people. You do bad things and you go bad ways.